Welcome to our relationship flow with Ellie Goldsmith. This is a new week and a lot of changes are going on. The world here in Israel, at least, is opening up. The quarantine seems to be pretty much on its way out. Just had an announcement in the next 2 weeks they'll be allowed 100 people events, which is a big game changer for us in UnityInspiresProjects and all the different things we're trying to do for everyone in the music world. It's been a difficult time period. The online Zoom classes were okay, but doesn't beat the face-to-face, especially also with our Munas, our future tours. It's being put on hold. The South Africa visit and our visit tour to America, we would have been much more dynamic till now, and just doing everything online has been a big transition. So at least in Israel we'll be able to do some local events hopefully in another few weeks, and that will give a change in the flow. But the question is if there are going to be these transitions, and say in another month and a half they're saying in Israel that it's going to be completely open to back to normal activity in terms of with social distancing, but without physical distancing rather, but without the restrictions of amount of people. And so for example this week with Lag BaOmer, we're not going to have the hundreds of thousands, 500,000 people together in Meron like usual. We're only going to have a few hadlakas, a few fires, and it's a shame, that it's not taking place this year. But at the same time, we can bring that fire within. So that's where we're at this week. But in another few months, whatever larger events that come up throughout the year, they will be taking place. So with this transition, kids are going back to school, and people are working. I'm back in my office right now as I'm speaking. And this transition allows us to develop some ideas and thoughts and internalization for what do we do with our relationship flow. No longer will we be as much with our spouse or loved one or loved ones, our children and whoever we're with. We're going to actually start slowly transitioning and back to this, real world, hopefully a new world of a bit more positivity and connection. Hopeful that people have opened up a little bit their hearts to each other and developed in their relationships, and especially being that in the Jewish world we've been doing Sfiras HaOmer, which is a counting of the Omer, Shavuos, and developing ourselves. So this gives us a massive opportunity to really grow in all the different aspects of personal growth, that we should become a more refined and dedicated person. We shouldn't be God forbid offending anybody or doing anything to anyone that's not positive. So right now is the time to really build on these skills and go ahead in life. So being that we're going through this transition that we've mentioned a few times, there's going to have to be a lot of thought and how we do it, that it shouldn't just suddenly disappear. For example, if we've given a lot more time to our family, then it shouldn't just be this big jump away from the home and back to shul or back to your boys club or girls club or whatever you do, tennis club, or I don't know if the sports facilities are opening up so quick, but all the different things that keep people busy out of the home. There should be an awareness that it's, for some people who don't have as active social scene, or maybe their story hasn't yet opened up as quickly, that you have to be a bit sensitive and touch base and remember that this was a very intense, focused time together. And as you move away, that your spouse or loved one shouldn't feel neglected or ignored or forgotten about, and just this rush to get back into the world and back into your community. So even though that hasn't happened fully yet, but to think about it before there is that change in flow, that you're already anticipating and preparing emotionally for the focus and time being elsewhere. Even though the truth is, if you really understand the unity flow and unified approach, everything we're doing is really about our development of relationships. Every time we go out, every time we work, every time we're with other people, if we're truly dedicated to the people in our lives, so it should all be a part of developing that relationship and joining together in a more unified way once we get back. And that'll be felt by the person in your life. They don't need you in the house 24/7. They just need your heart. Rahman Aliba boy, as it says in Chazal, that Hashem wants your heart. So if all the time your heart's dedicated to the one person in your life, or ultimately the one God, the one universal force. And I think these two aspects come totally together, the idea of loving another person truly, and loving Hashem, loving God, loving the Creator, and loving the universe in a true way, the unified force. This is a one avoda yochid, as it says, yichud, to make a yichud, to make a oneness. As we say, he's one and is miyuchad. To come to that unification, that's a very powerful experience. And really, like Ba'omen, this panemius time of Hoja B'Hod, this inner time of counting during the Sphira, leading up to, for the Jewish people, the Kabbalah Torah, this fifth week has in it, the fifth of the fifth, has in it the fifth day of the fifth week, a tremendous inner connection and light. And that will give you power in your relationships to really understand how intimate and one we are. Recently I was just watching The Matrix, and if you remember that film, there was 3 films actually with my wife, and we realized, once again, the power of intimacy between the soul and the world and the people. And so this whole technological revolution shouldn't take over in a negative way, but should have the inner connection, the soul, and that will give us the power to turn our experience with the internet that we've all been more focused on the last few weeks, to balance it out and to bring an awareness that there's godliness even there, and it's part of our unification to escape the matrix, or even elevate the matrix, to transform our time and relationships to more love and connection and meaningfulness, fulfillment, sincerity, all these beautiful things, and to really have the heart level to have worked at Leiv Tov, to have a good heart, and to really care about how these 49 days that we're counting really transform our life, and so we can go with the Torah, with the spiritual guidance that we have, into our relationships and into the world, into whatever we're doing, with a whole different level of experience. So we're not just like going out and like party time, like the world's already getting excited, beach and not taken away. Like, I'm looking forward to also have my holiday on the beach, but the point is that it should be done with our awareness as a higher purpose and a higher cause, and then we don't have to be addicted to everything, and we don't have to be addicted to this world, pleasures and things. So the pleasures of the world serve us to get closer to that oneness, to that true fulfillment of having a mission and purpose. And I think that with all those ideas, I think we'll experience life on a whole different level. We'll understand our relationships are actually more enhanced now. We're going out slowly from this quarantine, and I wish everyone success with that, and I would love to hear your relationship flows and thoughts on this, and how you're working on this. And personally, I'm praying for this, and trying to remind myself to be sensitive, to reach out, and to care, and about the transition process, and not just to run off on my own story again. Like, God forbid, if I have done that in the past, to ask forgiveness, and this time get it right. This is the opportunity in life to constantly grow. So I wish everyone a good relationship flow. Looking forward to hear yours and see that unity and inspired life together as we go out in a new world of relationship, closeness and oneness.